Hello. So, a big welcome. I got my coffee, so hopefully my speech won't be too slurred. And I'm just waiting for, well, hopefully getting a taxi to go up to Acrocorinth and then the old Corinth Old Town. It's funny, I'm at the taxi rank and there's a load of taxis here, but no taxi drivers. They're probably all having coffee in the cafe. You know, it's like Greek culture, isn't it? You know, just so like chill. But yeah, I'm looking forward to today. It's going to be a hot one, so I'm trying to get up there before it gets too hot. Cheers, bye.
The Apostle Paul's second missionary journey, detailed in Acts 15:36 to 18:22, took place around 49 to 52 AD. After parting ways with Barnabas, Paul travelled with Silas, revisiting churches in Asia Minor. They journeyed through modern-day Turkey, spreading the gospel, and later crossed into Europe. In Philippi, Paul and Silas were imprisoned but miraculously freed, leading to the conversion of the jailer. In Thessalonica, Berea, Athens, Paul preached in synagogues and to the Gentiles. In Corinth, he spent over a year establishing a strong Christian community. The journey ended with Paul returning to Antioch, strengthening churches and leaving a lasting impact on early Christianity.
So I got a taxi up here to Acrocorinth, simply because it's just too warm to walk up, and I'm just like blown away already. Look, check this out. Imagine being in an invading army, and you're down there, and you're having to walk up here in the heat, probably limited food and water and whatever, and then you're trying to get in there. I mean, I'm sure that wall there was higher, but look at that one. That seems to be like complete. How on earth would you get over that? I mean, you literally have to destroy the wall, but then you'd have people throwing things at you from up there. It'd be just chaos, wouldn't it? You can see why it would have been so hard to take this place. I think the Romans did in, when was it, 136 BC or something like that. And apparently they flattened the old Corinth and rebuilt it. But, I mean, the Romans were so advanced when they were just like, in different ways, you know, to the Greeks. The Greeks were super advanced, like, thinking wise and probably in tech as well. But I think the Romans, like, took it one step further with technology, especially, like, militarily. That's my assessment after watching the beginning of the Gladiator movie. Gosh, look at that. That must be the vineyards. I'm sure there's some olives as well. Oh my goodness, the air's so clear, it's lovely. I feel like I've gone back in time. It's just unbelievable. Yes, the castle occupies the entire plateau atop the steep hill. Fortification walls almost 3,000 metres long, circle and hill's rocky brow. The Roman army destroyed Corinth and demolished Acrocorinth, fortification 146 BC. Julius Caesar 44 BC, flourished again as the military capital of southern Greece. So it says here that it was conquered by the Byzantines in 1203 AD, and then in 1210 it fell to the Franks of the Fourth Crusade, and then the Ottomans took it in AD 1458. Incredible. Wow. First line of defence, second line of defence, third line of defence, the North Postern Gate, Eastern Gate, Southern Gate. That's Eastern Gate, Southern Gate. Tower enclosure. Sanctuary Christian Church. See, what I find interesting is, like, people who were living in Corinth during this time, it wouldn't have been easy to live. It's not like they had hospitals and taxis and shopping centres. So with these armies, it would just decide to invade you, and then you'd be like, oh great, probably going to lose everything I have, maybe die. My sisters and wife and daughters, whatever, are going to be taken away. And I wonder if they would come up to a place like this. If the whole family everyone in the city would come and live in here for, whilst they're under siege. Don't know. Or whether it would just be kept purely for military. Cool. Wow. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to, if you were in invading army, just it'd be hard to run up these stones. Whew. I guess that was the plan, really, wasn't it? Imagine even getting food up here and stuff. God. Can you ever imagine looking out every day for invading armies, seeing nothing, and then one day looking out and just seeing these men and horses coming over a hill, and then them just keep coming, and then you'd be like, okay, so at the moment I can see there's about 3,000, and then as they just keep pouring out, you realise, wow, they've got an army of 10,000, and that the closer they get, and then they would probably camp. Yeah, I don't know, maybe somewhere over there out of range, send somebody to ask you to surrender, you'd say no, and then probably at 6 a.m. one day they would just randomly attack you. And yeah, you'd be out getting these big balls of, I presume, I don't know if it's the same as the movies, big balls of fire, where they set fire to stuff and fling it over, and rocks, and they'd be trying to get these big crane things to go against the wall, and then you'd be and then they'd be looking for a weak spot, and then if they found one, you'd see them climbing over the wall, and then you'd be doing flipping hand-to-hand combat whilst pushing people away, killing them, stabbing. It's gross, isn't it? It's gross, isn't it? That'd be flipping horrendous. They'd literally be fighting for days, wouldn't they? Probably weeks. And then in the end, the army would just have to give up and go, or they would pretty much kill everyone. Pretty brutal, really. Wait for your life to end, just in the army, just doing your thing every day, probably getting a bit bored, a bit fed up, and then all of a sudden you die in a war, in a battle, in a castle. You could be any age, imagine that, you're 20 years old or something. It's been madness. What a way to go. Oh my days. Where am I now? Incredible. I bet the view on that side's amazing as well, but I just don't have time to go up there.
Acrocorinth is the ancient fortified hill that served as the Acropolis of Corinth. Located in southern Greece, rising nearly 575 metres above sea level, it offers a strategic vantage point over the surrounding plains and the Gulf of Corinth. Corinth was a crucial military stronghold for antiquity, offering protection to the city of Corinth below. The hilltop was fortified in multiple stages, with significant construction occurring in the 5th century BCE. The ancient Corinthians built a massive wall around the summit, complete with gates, towers and bastions. Notable structures include the Temple of Aphrodite, which once stood on the Acrocorinth. Over the centuries, Acrocorinth saw a mix of Greek, Roman, Byzantine and Ottoman influences. The site was also a centre of religious worship with temples dedicated to various gods and goddesses. The fortress was used for defence throughout the ages, particularly during times of siege or invasion. The Temple of Aphrodite was at one of the highest points of the Acropolis, which overlooked ancient Corinth. The temple had over 1,000 temple priestesses who had walked down to Corinth at night to earn money as prostitutes to support the temple. They could be distinguished by their lack of a head covering. The new converts to Christ, in their new freedom, started to not wear the headscarf also, which led to unwanted attention from the transient community who were there in transit from Rome or Asia Minor, which is modern day Turkey. The boats coming from Rome and the other way from Asia Minor could sail around the peninsula in very rough waters, which was time consuming, or they could get their boat pulled the 4 miles across the bitter lands where Corinth was. This meant that the community was very multicultural and transient, hence why the Apostle Paul chose to go there, as the gospel message could spread far and wide very quickly. Today, Acrocorinth is an archaeological site drawing visitors with stunning views and impressive ruins. It provides valuable insights into the military, religious and social history of Corinth and serves as a testament to its strategic importance in the ancient world.
So yeah, I'm walking down to Old Corinth now, or the ancient Corinth, and on the map it says 15 minutes. I don't know if that's like walking up or downhill, but I'm going to try and do it in like 15 or 20. Cool. These views. Yeah, I probably should have spent 2 nights here really. I'm going to bus to Ionia later. I'm going to Civita, and then I want to go to Meteora, Thessaloniki and Philippi. So I've got a lot of places to see, and obviously the price getting expensive, so I'm trying to move as quick as I can really, but sometimes you do just need that extra day. I'm glad I had that extra day in Athens. It just meant I could really get that sort of like that kind of message I did together properly. Look at that there. And I guess the reason why I haven't really planned or prepared for this is because you never know. Like, some people plan trips miles in advance, but I just didn't know if I'd have the money or the time, and you know, so I was kind of leaving it to the last minute. Yeah, and I kind of like to leave it because then you get new ideas, and like, for example, you might go to a place and then the main tourist site might be something you've never even heard of, and then you go there and you're like, oh wow. But I'm probably just making excuses for poor planning. Anyway, it's a lovely view. So Old Corinth, where I'm going to next, apparently got flattened by an earthquake in it was about 150 years ago, I think. And yeah, this area in Greece is very quakey. Even if that is a word, I don't know. I was trying to Google it in the middle of the night, which probably isn't a good thing. And yeah, from Western Corfu through some of the islands, is it Kefalonia, maybe Zante, there's some bow thing, you know, a plate, or edge of a plate. But if there was a quake, you know, all this dirt or soil would just come down probably, wouldn't it? So I'm trying to like move as quick as I can past all this. I mean, it's very, very unlikely, isn't it? But, yeah, cool. Right. So I reckon going up would take you more like 2 hours probably, but coming down probably more like 20, 30 minutes. Especially if you're doing my power walking thing, you know, where they move their hips and stuff. So yeah, it's fun because it's like when you're going downhill, you actually make up a lot of ground with less effort. It's alright, isn't it? A nice view as well. The water looks nice. It's a nice couple from India I was chatting to you about there. They offered me a lift down, but they said the taxi is going to be 15 minutes. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I can risk it, you know, because I got to check out soon. But that was probably their taxi there, and I imagine they'll probably pass me in about 5 minutes, and they'll probably offer me a lift for the last 100 metres. Anyway, it's been a good workout. Cool. There's a guy behind me, I don't know if you can see him. He's like walking up. If he's walking to the fort, he's got a long way to go. Oh dear, he looked really sweaty as well. I hope he's got loads of water. He looks pretty happy though, main thing. Welcome to ancient Corinth. Wow. This is where the Apostle Paul spent 18 months as a tent maker. Tell you what, the Romans really knew how to build stuff, didn't they?